Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Glowe Podcast. I'm here with a very exciting guest. I have Barbara from Chrome Aesthetics. And if you are new here, we are tailored marketing and we help aesthetic clinics grow their practices and scale their businesses through strategic marketing strategies. So if you're interested, drop a comment below. Barbara, I'm so excited to have you here today. Thank you so much for coming on. I would love if you would kind of just go ahead and give a little bit of an introduction to who you are, so the listeners know.
Thanks, Taylor. I'm so appreciative of you having me on today.
Of course.
We've had fun getting to know one another and see how things have come about. Yeah, as you said, I'm Barb Franklin. I'm a nurse practitioner in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and have been a family practice NP for the last 18 years and really started Chrome Aesthetics, which is my wellness and aesthetic practice, about 15 years ago. And it has grown to just me as a single provider to our team now. And we have a variety of things available within our space. It's been a fun journey. For sure.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And it was so cool too because I was in New Mexico, and so
Yes,
I got the privilege of coming and seeing Chrome Aesthetics as well. And I loved being able to come because, like traveling and talking to people from all over the country, a lot of times you don't get to actually meet them in person and see their practice and see what they're doing. So I thought it was so fun that I was able to do that and see Chrome too and meet some of your team members as well.
Thank you. Yeah, it was funny when we were talking that we were just in your backyard. And it's like, we're just down the hill. Come and see us and come back. Now you got to get a facial and do a couple things so that you can get the full Chrome experience, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
no, for sure. No, I'll definitely be back. And so I would love for you to just kind of share a little bit more about the story of how Chrome Aesthetics began 15 years ago and what kind of made you decide to transition into medical aesthetics.
That is a great question. It was, if you would have asked me 15 years ago, what was medical aesthetics and how does that play into being a nurse practitioner, I would have had no clue. At the time, aesthetics was a pretty exclusive kind of thing. Only we heard about people getting treatments from plastic surgeons in big cities across the country. And I was in a full service OBGYN clinic, great partner that I had. And we started having a couple of our patients ask about this thing called Botox. And it was at the time where laser hair removal was becoming more popular instead of just waxing. And it really was inspired by patients. They wanted to know more about it. I didn't know anything about it. Had never gotten Botox before, had never kind of looked at some things, didn't know that was a whole medical specialty all in itself. So I talked with my partner at the time, who fabulous. We were busy, primarily really heavy OB practice. And I said, what do you think? He said, I don't have time for that, but go figure it out. Go find out what it's about and see. So I talked with patients more about it, what they were kind of seeing and interested. And I went and took my first class. I also got my first Botox to see what they were really talking about, what Botox was.
You're like, I gotta try it out.
I gotta try it. I can't promote it if I don't even know what it is. So yeah, so I got my first treatment, went to a small place in town that was at a physician's office, and I thought, wow. So I talked with the providers there, and they gave me some direction on, here are some places to go learn. Look at these things and go to, because it's a very deep dive into a very narrow field of kind of integrating beauty, wellness, and medicine all together, because it really truly is a medical practice to be involved with. So that's how it started. We started a little space and just a little bit of stuff with Botox and laser hair removal, and things kept developing and coming about, more options for what was available. And I love to learn, so I just kept going back for more, to learn more.
Yeah. No, that's super cool. It's funny how, like, 15 years ago, your patients were the ones that were kind of
Yeah.
bringing it to you with interest in
Yes.
it. Like, okay, I've heard of this thing. And I feel like that's even a common thing now that I hear a lot is like patients will bring things to aesthetic space. I think there's just so much access to information, especially now, that people are able to like learn about it on their
Oh, yes.
own, you know? And you're like, well, I'm in here doing medicine all day, so I don't have time to learn about all these like different things.
And the boom of things that are available on the internet, social media, TikTok, I mean, all of the platforms that are available for educational information, that you're right. We've added services because we have had patients ask us about, hey, have you seen this? I did some research on this treatment and this is what it does. And you're right. They're our best inspiration for adding additional things.
Yeah, no, it's crazy how much stuff is out there for sure. That's a really cool story. You know, somebody brought it to you and you're like, "Oh, let me do research. Let me
Let's
figure
do some
out what
research,
this
figure
is."
it out.
Yeah, and it takes like an open-minded person to be like, "Okay, let me look into this kind of more and see what it's all about."
I truly didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah.
So figure out this and having to figure out some of the different details and what were they really talking about. So that's been fun. It's been a fun process to learn.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And so I know at Chrome you offer everything from obviously still Botox to fillers to hormone therapy and IV drips. How did you kind of decide to evolve your service offerings into not only the medical aesthetic side, but also with the IV drips and hormone therapy, more of kind of the wellness side of the business as well?
Being that my primary really practice was in gynecology and wellness when I had a hospital practice, I also did some men's health, so looked at a lot of changes for people over time with their hormones. I had a large practice, and I think as I have aged, my patients have aged as well. We've gone through some of these transitions of hormonal, childbirth and then perimenopause and menopause and women really at the time and men too started asking questions about this is happening. Nothing else in my life has changed, but I've gotten a year older and these are the symptoms I'm having, and I don't know if it's normal, and I don't like the way I feel. And so really again started because of their really looking at what is this thing and what do I need to investigate more. And I love that because of my background, it when women love information. They love to really have the understanding of the why things are happening. And then they make really great decisions, men and women, about what can I do that works for me? Can you give me some options about what are these things and how does it make sense for them? And really, I have seen dramatic improvement in overall longevity and
Yeah.
living well because people really do. Just because you turn 50 and start to go through some hormonal changes, or we know now most hormonal changes start in our mid 30s, right?
Yeah.
They start having these changes go on, and they still want to be engaged in all the activities they do. They still want to be vital at work. They still want to feel well and do all of those things that they're normally doing still in the same sort of way. So there have been dramatic improvements in the information we have, in the treatment modalities we have, in what we can have conversations about, and really the understanding of aging and how things change and how we can support better options. So that
Yeah.
really was where it was at, because it was driven by women want to feel better, men want to feel better, they want to feel well way into the ages, because we're not talking about retiring at 60 anymore and dying at
Yeah.
72. We've got, people are working well into their 70s because they enjoy it, and they want to
Yeah.
travel and they want to be active in activities. And look at the surge of pickleball in our population that's over 65. They want to be active in doing things. So that really was the driving force on learning more about that, integrating that in. And those are also people that they want to feel as good as they feel. They also want to look that good too. And so they're
Yeah.
working on things. People in their 60s, we weren't fabulous about sunscreen, right? Our 20 and 30-year-olds have been way better about sunscreen. We were putting baby oil on and we weren't using sunscreen back when we
Yeah.
were young. And so now we have to correct some things and do a little bit more work to get feeling like we really feel internally. So
Yeah,
that's been fun.
no, yeah, no. I think it's so cool to see the effects of hormone therapy. Especially,
Yeah.
I've seen it more with women, or like heard stories more about it with women than with men. I'm sure it works wonders for men too. But I know for a long time too, hormone therapy caught kind of a bad rap from some of the
Uh,
things that I think it was in the 90s when they did the different experiments with the horse hormones, and it was just like it was crazy. And now people are obviously way back on more of the train with hormones, but I've seen the effects of it. It's so cool to see somebody in like their 50s or 60s go back to feeling like they're in like their 40s or 30s, or whatever age kind of. And so it's really 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 cool to see. And I thought it was so funny that you brought up the pickleball too, because it just shows that people do want to be active. And
they
like,
do want to be active. Yes.
and it integrates so well with, I think, aesthetic clinics as well, because if you feel good, then you look good. And if you look good, then you feel good, vice versa.
Right.
So I think that wellness and longevity, like you said, integrate so well into aesthetics as well.
They do, and it's they do. They want to feel good. In fact, our tagline is "Look better, live better, love better." I mean, those are the things that it is a quality of life issue in overall how you feel. That, yeah, people that are feeling better, they also want to look better, and it is a nice marriage of services.
Yeah,
It's
no, I
it's been a
completely
good
agree with you.
Yeah, it's been a good mix.
Yeah. And so you've also emphasized a more natural regenerative approach to aesthetics. What does that mean to you and your team, even with the tagline that you just said? How do you kind of incorporate this in to with your clients, and I guess with company culture overall too?
I think what we've seen and what I've seen personally from patients is we know there's definitely trends out there where there will be some severe kinds of treatments that go on, whether it's the really severe jaw lines, the severe cheek, hollows, everybody
Yeah.
was getting their buccal fat removed. There was this kind of trying to look like Maleficent from the movie, where you have these really severe cheekbones.
Yeah.
And I think that we see that in media, that those are, and people aspire to that, especially our younger folks.
Yeah.
As we've seen, some of those folks that started in their, say, mid-20s with some of those kind of trendy things, now they're 40 and they're thinking, wow, I don't know if I look like myself. And I think overall, there has been a big shift where we were having these severe things go on and then was kind of not doing anything. And it's really shifted back to, I want to look like myself. I don't want to look like I'm 20, but I certainly want to look like the best version of myself. So how do I get to that place where it enhances my natural features? I feel good. People aren't have that shocked look
Yeah.
when they're like, "Oh my God, what did you do?" The subtlety and the fresh is the best response that my patients and our patients have, is when people say, "Look fabulous. I don't know what you've done, but boy, you whatever it is." And most of the time they're very happy to share that there's little things here, especially when it's a non-surgical kind of
Yeah.
avenue, that there's little things you can do to help with skin quality, to help with tightening, to help with overall contour glow. And that has been it's a great journey to be on, because that is sustainable. The severe things are
For
not
sure.
really sustainable. Yeah, because then you get a little kind of, what's the word, where you don't even
Like
recognize the things that you've done, that you're
like
the
you're like,
dysmorphia. Yes.
yeah, that's what I was
Yes.
gonna say,
Yeah.
dysmorphia.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. And I think, like you were saying, we have kind of seen a shift where people were, when Botox and fillers started becoming more mainstream, because, you know, it always kind of starts with like the people in Hollywood and famous people and really rich people. Those trends always start with them, and then they kind of trickle their way down. And I think
Right.
when it when filler and Botox especially first started, like I think people were going to an extreme, and I think then now we're getting more to a place where it's like, okay, I just want to enhance what I already have and look my best, you know? Like you said, it's just like I still want to look like myself, but I want to look like the best version of myself. And I also think too that like our estheticians and our NPs and things are getting better as well too, at being able
Definitely.
to, you know, like with different facial structures, it's like, okay, one person may need this, someone else may need this. And I think people too know that that trend is more towards natural. So it's like, okay, let's just enhance your natural beauty.
Exactly. And balance. I think it's one of the recent buzzwords is full facial balancing. And it's really not, there's nothing new about it. It really is looking at the person, making an assessment, what is going to look refreshed, what's going to give you back the things that you lost, what's going to give you back kind of that renewal, whether it's skin. Skin's a huge thing. Huge,
Yeah.
huge, huge. And when you talk about estheticians being involved, their input into everything is so valuable as part of our team, because we can work on all of the injections, we can work on hormones. But if they're not doing, 80% of the things we do is at home. What kind of skincare are you
Yeah.
doing? Are you using sunscreen? Are you getting enough hydration? Are you getting enough sleep? I mean,
Yeah.
those things all play into how your physical presentation and look to the outside and yourself. So my best conversation is when somebody comes in and said, I just want to look like me again. I just want to look like me. And they'll show
Yeah.
me a picture of maybe their driver's license 10 years ago, or a picture they were at some sort of event 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. And there'll be something happen. So you can work on that whole package for them of how do you make you the best version of you?
Yeah, and that's probably so rewarding too, to be
Oh,
able
yeah.
to like have that conversation with them, create the treatment plan, and then
Yeah.
see afterwards not only how they look, but just the difference in how they're feeling too.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so, give me one second.
Yeah, you're good.
And so, also kind of switching to a little bit of a different topic, I know for Chrome, education is super, super important for your team and also for your patients as well. And so, how has that kind of played a role in building Chrome and then also with Chrome's reputation for clients too?
I think our focus on education, safety, best practices has really come to be what we are specifically known for in our community. I am a lifelong love learner.
Yeah.
It's something that I enjoy. I'm always wanting to know, and my team really has that same focus. I have tried to impart on them. We've got to make sure we're focused on best practices. We've got to make sure we're focused on safety. We've got to make sure we know, because, and I will totally transparent with them. When I started doing aesthetics, we did not have the education opportunities that are available now. It
Yeah.
was a couple of, basic classes. I even have a good friend who's a plastic surgeon out in LA, and he and I laugh at with one another about the things that we used to do when we didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And well, whenever we're together, we'll say, "Do you remember when we used to do this and this and this?" And it's a good thing we didn't get into trouble. Our patients didn't have any problems, but we know better now. We know.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at the options for education, the options for cadaver anatomy classes, because that is huge in aesthetics, knowing where things are at and how recognizing that it isn't this fluffy kind of practice. It's not just about, makeup and the, like I say, if, for lack of a better word, fluffy things. It
Yeah.
really is, there is science behind it, and you need to know anatomy, and you need to know what you're doing, because we can cause harm,
For
and
sure.
things can go wrong. And we want people to, we don't ever want to put you in that situation. So, and the
Yeah.
team, I think my team really appreciates that. We bring in outside educators to our space for ongoing education. We go as a team to other educational opportunities that are available. And I try and really focus on, everybody has their little kind of niche about where they want to focus their practice on, whether it's lasers, injectables, skin, hormones. I mean, all of those things. There are definitely specialty continuing education opportunities available. So if someone has a real passion for that, that is really huge. We've got one, we're going to a dermatology, because with lasers, huge on the front of treatments these days, we really need to know, we're seeing more people with skin problems
Yeah.
that really are some dermatology kinds of things, and do we need to be aware of, don't look at the being able to look at those things. Don't send somebody off or do a treatment that's going to make things worse. And so dermatology, I mean, I can tell you, I
Yeah.
never thought I would be going to dermatology conferences. Yes, dermatology is part of that. And how do you treat it? I mean,
For
some of the
sure.
things we can do. I mean, it is whole part of the practice of skin health and feeling well, and internal being in balance with how it presents externally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots
No,
of
I feel like yeah, education is such an important part of it, and I do feel like a lot of people view medical aesthetics as, like you said, like a kind of fluffy thing, because nobody is scared to go to like their med spa, not like the regular doctor, the dentist, and so they view it as this place where like nothing can go wrong. But
right, right,
if you don't have good practices and you're not educated, then things can go wrong. Like you said, it's definitely not a foolproof thing. And so I feel like, yeah, education is so important, and making sure that you're up to date with the best practices. Like you were saying, 15 years ago, when medical aesthetics was still not new, but a lot newer than it is now. We've
right.
learned so many things even over those past 15 years.
Absolutely. Like I said, I thank my stars and God and prayers, and that, man, I didn't get in any trouble, and things could have gone wrong, because you didn't know. They say you didn't know what you didn't know, and that
Yeah.
is when you get in trouble. And so thankfully, no bad outcomes or anything. But I think I probably am more cautious now than I've
Mm-hmm.
ever been, because of knowing more things,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
why you wouldn't do some procedures in some ways, because it's just not safe. Let's look at some other options for you. Let's look at some other modalities that we can do these kind of things. And the other thing is, we've both my one of my other staff members, teammates, we both are educators for injectables and companies, and we really try and help and impact locally, who how people are getting education, providing education. I see practices at least on a monthly basis, even within our state, where I'm going and educating them on techniques and safety and product use and just some of their best practices. And a lot of them are new because there are a lot of new people in this space.
Yeah.
And they're hungry for information, so to be able to provide that, I've always liked to teach. When I had students in the hospital, it was a fun thing to do, and so this really gives a nice extension of being able to share information and share knowledge. It also keeps me up and current on what is the priority, what are the latest recommendations and research, because I have to know so that I can, because they come up with some great questions.
Yeah.
Students are my best source of learning. Yeah.
It forces you to make sure you know your
Forces
stuff.
forces me to keep learning. Exactly.
That's super awesome. Yeah, and I feel like that's so cool too, sharing knowledge within the space and like being able, because I feel like people who have been in this space for longer, you know, they have so much knowledge, so much wisdom, like yourself. And then people who have maybe been in it for like a shorter period of time, they're bringing new ideas or, you know,
Absolutely.
a new perspective as well. So it's really fun, I feel like, to be able to see people just collaborating together.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And that's what we say. I mean, we've got a kind of that philosophy of collaboration over competition.
Yeah.
There's enough patience to go around. Promise.
Yeah.
And it's really, and I'm not for everybody and they're not for everybody. So you find your people that resonate with you and you build those patient relationships. And those are who are with you for your long term. And they see our patients see us now too, and that's who we want to attract and foster those relationships with for sure.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love that. And so, looking ahead for you a little bit,
Yeah.
what are the goals for Chrome over the next year or so?
I think stability is our real goal over the next year. We've got a good team of 9 people, 3 full-time. We've got some support staff, but we really want to maintain the stability of that kind of relationships with patients, long-term, healthy outcomes, looking at and I see people really focusing on natural results. We've got a
Yeah,
lot of things that are biostimulators. We've got a lot of people involved in skincare, laser focus, whether we're talking about tightening or resurfacing or pigment changes, or there is a lot of data from a lot of the dermatology world and the skin health that you actually can affect aging backwards with the use of light sources for skin health and information, education for patients. You know,
yeah,
everybody thinks about sunscreen. Like I said, we didn't think about that 30 years ago. They didn't think about it. Tan was good. I think about when people were in tanning booths and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, we
yeah,
weren't thinking about those things, but people are very conscious of that. And what quality of SPF is it? Mineral versus physical. I mean, there are conversations about what's the best kind. Why do you need this? How often should you get a skin check? I mean, they give us great feedback about, what they want. I see that wellness portion of it mixed with our aesthetics as
yeah,
really being sustainable because people are realizing that those things do go hand in hand. When you talked about our IV therapy program, we look at the micronutrients that we're missing from our daily intake. Just because food sources have changed, people are busy, they're not getting as many things as they used to in dietary intake. We've had one of the things that you and I talked about was how GLP-1s have changed kind of some of the things that we're looking at.
yeah,
And so people that have been on weight loss journeys really getting their micronutrients in a good way as well to
yeah,
continue to maintain health. I see that wellness piece really steadily increasing and growing. And those people also then convert to a lot of aesthetic treatments.
yeah,
We've got it goes both ways. Our aesthetic patients are interested in wellness. Our wellness patients are all of a sudden now they're kind of looking at, oh, this whole med spa thing isn't just about, big lips and overdone, frozen
yeah,
foreheads. It's really about, wow, I want to feel better because I'm feeling better overall, and I want my out exterior to match that as well. So, and it doesn't have to be severe or crazy or super noticeable about stuff. Just feeling well.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I completely agree with you. I think the wellness trend is not going anywhere. I think
Yeah.
people are definitely becoming more aware of the different things with their bodies, you know, like how are they working? What does my body need? What's going to fuel it? And longevity. You know, I think that's just a huge buzzword right now for people.
Yes.
They're like, "Okay, how can I live as long as possible and have the best life as long as possible?" And I think people also too are becoming more aware of like, okay, I don't want to wait until I'm, 70 or 80. Like I want to start doing it now. So then when I'm 70 or 80, I'm doing great.
Right. Exactly. I don't want to have to play catch up.
Yeah.
They do not want to play catch up. They want to focus on it now. What can I do? I even see people in their 30s and 40s looking at kind of joint health and
Yeah.
what are they doing to preserve function and flexibility and just that physical movement without being having to be an athlete kind of person. How can I balance those kind of things? So I think it's huge. The wellness is part of all that.
For sure. No, I definitely agree. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I would love,
Oh,
can
Taylor,
you
my pleasure. Yes.
Can you tell my audience where's the best place to find you and find Chrome Aesthetics online? I'll also put it in the show notes as well so that, it's easy access. But if you want to go ahead and tell everybody, that would be great.
Yeah, we have a great Instagram presence on chrome.aesthetics. We have our website at www.chromeaestheticsSpa.com. My personal Instagram is barbara.np.chromeaesthetics. And we've got all of our providers tagged in all of those. Follow, share, like, comment. We love engagement because we really want to know what people are interested in and know. And it really is our patients, our clients who give us the best resources for what they really want to include in their aesthetic and wellness journey. We love always to have the feedback.
Yeah. No, that is awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Oh,
I
we
really,
found each
really
other on
appreciate it.
LinkedIn. That was the other thing. You and I found each other on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Yes?
yeah, yeah. No, I'll include LinkedIn too, because, yeah,
Okay.
LinkedIn's a good one.
Yeah, so LinkedIn is another one. Yeah, I forgot about that one. There's lots of them, Taylor. Lots of resources. So we appreciate it.
Okay, cool. Awesome.